Okay, well, it's 10 o'clock, so let's get rolling. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today for this next segment in our online workshop series. Today, we'll be talking about profit with print. And, first, our real goal here is to help you drive sales. And over the course of the next few workshops, so the next few months here, we'll have more topics to help you grow. So we do one workshop every other week. And already we're seeing distributors report that these webinars do make an impact on their business. In fact, 96% are reporting this. But no one makes an impact if you can't engage. So although you're muted automatically, please bring your questions forward in the Q&A function down below or the chat function. Either one will work just fine and we'll respond there quickly. After the webinar, we'll hold the panelists another 15 minutes to answer questions live. My name is Stephanie Drago, and I've been here in this industry for 9 years, working e-commerce and marketing and all things digital for over 20 years. So I'm really glad to be here with you all today. We'll go over pro tips and profitability more. So first, let's get to know our speakers. So Rick Heyman, you are our label leader with 30 years in the business. We're really glad to have you here today. Welcome, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here with all of you. Looking forward to sharing a little bit of what we know, or what we think we know, at least. Sharing that with you and helping to grow sales and profits with you all. That's what we're all about. So good morning and thanks.
Thanks, Rick. And we have Beth Marston. You've been our sales leader in this industry for 25 years, covering both promo and print sides of the business. So welcome, Beth.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 25 years. So, and I got my start in the promotional products business and was hooked and stayed ever since. So what I've learned though over time is like these venues and what we're hearing from you in the chat and responses, that's the experience that I've gained, and we learn the most from all of you. So I'm excited to hear the dialogue today.
All right, that's great. So Beth, you started in promo, and now you're an expert in print, so that can be done.
It can be done.
Awesome, awesome.
That's awesome. All right, Mark Kroll, 14 years in the industry on the print side. So you'll be doing a deep dive today about business identity. Welcome, Mark.
Yes, welcome. Hello, everyone, and excited to go over some different tips and tricks and some of the how we can turn profits on the business identity type products. So again, looking forward to
it. Excellent. Thank you, Mark. All right, so I'm just going to share the results here so that you guys can see them. So Signage, of the folks that were voting here today, Signage is definitely in the top that you're interested in exploring with customers and prospects, followed by labels. So pretty clear lines there. So we are definitely going to cover those in depth today. And we will have more webinars, like I said earlier, to cover those in deeper levels as well, talking about profitability, where to get started, where you can look for resources, timings, all of that kind of stuff. All right, so that's just good to know. All right, so everyone already knows print is everywhere. Print is really all around you. It's essential. Everyone needs and uses print in one way or another. I'm preaching to the choir here. We all understand that. But whether you have a prospect who's secretly overwhelmed with the number of vendors that they're managing, or a current customer you think you might have an opportunity with, we're going to answer the question today of where to get started. And that can take place at different levels, right? Some folks are asking, well, I'm not sure, where are the bleeds? What is a bleed? How do I deal with that? But some are asking far more in-depth, like, where do I get started? How do I fill my pipeline? So we're going to cover these kinds of questions. These workshops are not fluff. So by definition, you guys are distributors and are already entrepreneurs. So today we're really focusing on profitability, top products, top industries, and common pitfalls. You see that today. And where to start? Well, it's really right now. So focus on you, turn off your cell phones, shut down that email, and let's roll. So Beth, I'm gonna pass it over to you first.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. So yeah, hearing where everybody came in and your tenure in the industry, how to start might be better stated as how to jump back in. So whether for the last 7 months you've been able to continue to sell promo, or you've moved into PPE, now added print and signage, any combination of those, how do you leverage those products so that all those that you have at your disposal? So one, you keep that opportunity pipeline full, and those in that pipeline to ensure that they're profitable. That's key. So let's talk about the who, and the how. So starting with the who, really what, as we look at conversations with distributors, they've said, you know, how do I fill my pipeline and how do I do that through prospecting? So when we look at organic growth in your current customers, it might be simply just a change or augmentation in your prospecting tactics. So maybe instead of just talking to the marketing team or purchasing and procurement, we start to bring in, you might start to bring the operations folks and maybe HR. They have new tasks today and objectives related to employee safety, of course, and actually customer safety as they come into businesses. Plus the sales team that says, how do I reach out to all these customers now that I'm not meeting in person? So bringing all those folks to the table, it's increasing your access and influence so that you can organically grow as you look at the disciplines in those organizations. In fact, when I think about meetings that I've had with distributors, the biggest successes have been when the distributor brokers that meeting. One would think that these folks in the various departments would, you know, get together very often, but they don't necessarily. They're on their own path. They have their own objectives. And lately with, you know, compressed budgets and less people, less resources, they don't talk to each other as much. So bringing folks together, those are the biggest successes. Then when we talk about customer acquisition, what we're hearing from our customers now is that the distributors are really leveraging what they're doing in their communities. They're supporting their local communities more than ever. So either the boards they sit on, chambers of commerce, or other volunteer organizations, they're getting business from that networking. They're also embracing social. So people are posting more on their Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and reusing the content that we're supplying. There's also quite a bit of activity in sponsorship and advertising as well. So let's look at the approach. So the how. And there's a lot of folks that are using this new environment as a way to change that approach. So what I'm talking about is from a more transactional, reactive approach to programmatic. So gone were the days when you might get a phone call from someone that says, I need 50 sweatshirts for an event. And so now our distributors are working with their customers and bringing all these products forward and saying, what does this look like long-term? And how can you holistically bring sourcing into one spot? That's overused, maybe one-stop shopping, but for the folks that are ordering these at the businesses today, it really reduces their stress. So, and then what's even more on the minds of folks is with everyone working remotely, it's a really good time to explore the workflow. So it's a great time to say, what kind of technology are you using? And if they aren't, now you can really leverage that. So everything from giving them the e-commerce front end so they can order 24/7 to really using the tools that your suppliers have for you. So like, for instance, Navitor, we have an easy online instant calculator. You can quickly see the stocks that might be available. So really making sure that you're cutting out any administrative touches and using the tools that your suppliers are giving you to protect that profitability. So this program approach is what we really call, you know, sticky and profitable, because it's long-term and it seals the relationship. And even though in the poll, maybe stationary products aren't necessarily the most popular what you're working on, they tend to be the gateway, right, Mark, into business identity, and a really good start with our beloved business card. So over to you.
All right, well, thank you, Beth. Like Stephanie and Beth have stated, sorry about that. Waiting for these slides to move here. But like they had stated, print is absolutely everywhere. It's all over the place, and especially in the world of business identity, right? The tried and true products within business identity are going to be your business cards, letterheads, different forms of stationery. What we have up next here is kind of a simulation of what you might see in like an insurance agency type of an office. And as this GIF goes through, you'll see different types of products pop up. You see business cards, you'll see envelopes, you'll see address labels, desk signs. presentation folders, thank you notes, memo pads, pens, signs, postcards. Again, the list goes on. And generally when you go into companies like that, you're not going to win that entire piece of business. They're going to probably have one singular need that they need at the time. But once you hit that and you hit a home run, then the rest of the products will follow along with it. And sometimes these agencies don't even realize some of the products that they should be offering or they should be selling. And that's where, you know, some of that print expertise where Navitor can jump in and help, even in a consultative position. You know, you ask the questions to your client, come back to us, and we'll put something together and work together on that. So with that being said, we're going to look at some of the top 3 products, again, what we're seeing in today's age and traditionally as well. So first off is business cards. Again, business cards is going to get that foot in the door like Beth had stated earlier. Think of it, think of it as that gateway card. Having some troubles here. But think of it as that gateway card where you're going to get your foot in the door. Again, Navitor offers a number of different, sorry about this. Again, we offer a number of different types of business cards, different sizes, shapes. We can do spot color, full color, all of that thing. And so remember, you're representing, that company's being represented on a 3.5 by 2 card. And you'll have their logo, their color schemes, their design, you know, a little bit of their persona is going to be in that card. And once you land that, the rest of the products along the line are gonna follow up. And again, so when you're selling business cards, some of you may think, oh, you know what, it's a $20 product, it's an $8 product, it's whatever it is. But once you land that first order for 1,000 cards, you got to look at the long term of what that's going to lead to, what the products that you can lead to after the fact of getting that set up. And again, if the program is managed properly with your client, really the business card program, and as we get into envelopes and letterheads and that sort of, it can be a fix it and forget it. Again, with those programs that we can set up and we can assist with, where actually clients can go out to a portal and help themselves with some of that. Again, the needs and the volumes need to meet certain criteria for that all to make sense. But again, that is where, that's one of the goals that we'd want you to push with your clients, is to get more and more of that business. And after business cards, we're looking at, you know, kind of the direct mail envelopes and postcards. Again, right now, that's really a busy area that we're seeing. Again, a lot of people think that a lot of stuff is going digitally in the marketing and advertising, and it is. But at the same time, I don't think that my mailbox has skipped a beat. Every day I go out and I'm seeing, you know, some sort of mail coming. It could be from, you know, corporate generated mail. It could be something from the local communities around, whether that's, you know, insurance companies trying to win my business. It's, you know, lawn care companies sending out information that, hey, they want to come and take care of my property. It's construction companies. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of storms across the country. So you're getting local construction companies sending out postcards, and they're just kind of sending it out to everybody in the region saying, hey, I can fix your siding, I can fix your roof, I can clean your flooded basement, all of that sort of a thing. So again, that print has to come from somewhere. So again, we're here to help. And again, a lot of these products, you know, kind of your AOV and your margins are going to be a little bit better here in that 30 to 50% range. And why? It's because of the volume. You know, they're not ordering 100 postcards or like 100 business cards just to get started out of the gate. You know, if they have to hit an entire region or community, they're going to be ordering thousands of these at a time. So again, you really want to try to get into, you know, that type of work as well. And then naturally, right after the envelopes, obviously, if the envelopes are being sent out, something's got to be in those. But again, you can handle that type of work as well. You know, partnering with Navitor, and whether that's a letterhead that's inside, it's a coupon, it's a flyer, even to-go menus, you know, with restaurants, they got to draw people back in, and some of the restaurants aren't open, they have outdoor seating, and it's just a weird time. So again, you're seeing, you know, mailings being sent out to say, hey, we are open, we've taken these steps, trust us, it's safe, you know, please come back and give, you know, your local areas and your community, you know, bring the business back to them. So again, same with the postcards and envelopes. Your AOV is going to be a little bit higher on that. Your margins are going to be in that 40 to 50%, if not maybe even a little bit more. And that's due to just the volume, again, the sheer volume as well. Generally, you're going to be ordering more of these. Again, Navitor can handle, you know, if they want 50, we can do 50. If they want to do 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, we can handle that as well. So again, there really is no program that's too small or too large for us. Again, the biggest thing is to reach out. So up next, what we're going to talk about is, I'm going to talk about here is who. So what kind of industries are we seeing some of this work continuing even during this time? So one of the big areas is going to be that office and lobby setting. So your finance agencies, banks, insurance, manufacturing, hospitality, healthcare, car dealerships. There's some sectors of the that are actually thriving at this point, and so they are still doing business. I know that with we're getting a lot of postcard work. We're getting a lot of folder works, like the presentation folders and that sort of thing for a lot of these different markets. And within education, again, they're open back up. A lot of them are hybrid. Some of them are virtual only, but they still need to be able to communicate to all of the families and to the students and to those who are part of the colleges, the universities, the high schools, the middle schools. Again, so a lot of it is being done digitally, but at the same time, we still, I personally have received different things in the mail as well. So again, those areas are opening back up, so they're getting their feet back on the ground, and we're here to help with that as well. Then the last and not least, that we're seeing a lot is then construction and real estate, which I talked a little bit about that earlier. Again, with a lot of the storms and different stuff going on, and also with interest rates at its lowest ever, like historical low interest rates, there's a lot of people that are out buying, and there's a lot of advertising and marketing that needs to be done in order to get those houses shown and on the market and get the attention, from realtors and that sort of thing as well. So again, there is business out there that is doing very, very well. And again, we're here to help. And so what do you need to know? And what are some of the what to knows in regard to the business identity? Again, one of the biggest things is to utilize Navitor.com. If you're not on Navitor.com, make sure that you are joining Navitor or to get signed up and get on there, because we have an entire area of help and resources that are going to help with a lot of those questions. If you're new to print, outside of reaching out to one of the experts, you can also log into the website, and we have all kinds of different tools and resources for you to use, whether it's how to set up artwork, how long are the orders going to take, and that sort of thing. And some of the pitfalls, some people are like, oh, it's not worth it. Like these small areas, it's not worth doing, that sort of a thing. So again, but it is worth it. Once you land that first business card job, it's just going to grow from there. I'm working on that right now with a client. So again, so can you look over those? And if you have any questions, absolutely come back to us. So Stephanie, it sound like you had a poll, I believe, that you wanted to send out?
Yep, I just sent the poll out and have the results. So I'll share some of those results. So this is, what kind of margin are you expecting? What profitability there? So everyone should be able to see the results there on their screen. 40% is where folks are saying that that's really where they'd like to be. It looks like a few folks are looking at that really low margin, and sometimes that's where you get started in a new product or with a new customer. So it's kind of interesting to just see some of that range. So I think this helps as we labels and packaging, and then as we get into the signage section too, that you'll see the profitability percentages in those ranges. Okay, so Rick, I'm going to pass it to you. Labels was one of the top categories that this audience was sharing that they are currently exploring with customers and prospects. So over to you, Rick.
Good, thank you. Well, as many of you know, labels are really an interesting niche, and I think a nice complement to traditional print. Even through COVID, we've seen a strong demand around many of the label products, especially around safety, distancing, cleanliness, but also food and food takeout products. Labels, I think, have some versatility in terms of use, many applications in a number of environments. Functionally, they can be permanent, they can be temporary, they can be removable, they can be durable. And they also play a key role in messaging and branding, I think, both in a functional and cost-effective way. Here at the LabelWorks division, we've invested in a wide variety of pieces of manufacturing equipment, as well as processes, to support not only the most simple sticker, but also to the most sophisticated label. So it's kind of a fun niche to be in. And I was glad to hear through the poll that we have a number of you who are very involved in the label segment. Some of our current top products are around safety seals, around water bottle labels, and around window decals. And there are others, of course, as well, but right now, those are the ones that we're seeing, as I would say, the most active, and I would even go so far to term them as the hottest. Seals can have barcodes, they can have variable data, They can even have QR codes within them. We have plenty of support materials here to help you sell each of those options. I would say in general, safety seals are very profitable and they have a great opportunity for repeat business. Within the water bottle segment, I think those are easy to talk about. They're fairly easy to sell, easy for me to say at least. Everyone appreciates the kind gesture of being given a water bottle. It's a great branding opportunity for your company, also for individual salespeople like you. And if you buy the labels and apply them yourself, it can save you on shipping costs as well as storage. Within window decals, I'd like to note that our window decals aren't just clings. Frankly, they're a little more durable, repositionable, and we think they're of the highest quality around. They have a special adhesive that would allow you to remove and reposition them multiple times and not leave any residue along the way. So again, you know, many other products also are doing well, but safety seals, water bottle labels, and window decals are among the top ones currently. And then within different vertical markets, I think things that we're seeing today, and hopefully you're seeing it as well, and some of the opportunities that it creates within healthcare, within financial services, and also within education. And I would call out on the healthcare side, it's really easy to add new business. Many times within healthcare, if you're able to make some penetration, it can many times lead into programs, which result in convenient and quick reorders. Labels are vital, obviously, within that space. They're really needed to function day to day, and you can see some of the applications, lab and chart labels, machine asset labels, and educational sticker sheets. Within financial services, we're really seeing mailing labels, filing and chart labels, along with self-promotion. And I think what's important to point out there is mailing labels can carry your brand into the home, and they also create brand cohesion. They give value by linking multiple locations together. Within the education vertical, we're seeing bumper stickers, seals for accreditation, and parking permits. And I think what's important to point out there is it's a convenient way to promote school spirit, and also parking permit window decals renew each year. So again, many verticals, but I would say healthcare, financial services, and education are ones that we see as currently doing very well and with a lot of potential also. As far as what to know, a number of things that we could talk about there for quite some time. I think to me what sticks out in terms of what you should do, you know, here at LabelWorks, we're the label experts, so you don't have to be. And that's kind of our internal mantra and one that we really stick by. I know sometimes when you're dealing with labels, some of the minutia around labels, and it still boggles my mind every day. The minute I thought I knew everything about labels, something else comes up, but in a good way. We have a very veteran team here, both on the production floor, in the front office, and even within our sales force. Don't be intimidated, don't be overwhelmed by the amount of minutia that goes into labels. We're here to help, we can help, we're good at it. So certainly don't be intimidated in your label offering or even questions around labels. We're here to help. We have a ton of marketing materials, both digital and print, that we can help with. And we're also willing to do webinars, either with you or your teams individually, or if you have a prospect or a client that has some great potential and opportunity, we're happy to jump on a team or on a Zoom call with you and support you in that endeavor. Relative to common pitfalls, and Beth touched on it a little bit earlier as well, I think not making it known and aware that you sell labels is probably the most common pitfall that we see. Again, kind of going back to what I talked about just a minute ago, don't be intimidated by that. Let your clients know that you sell labels. And I would say too, if you have current prospects or clients that are maybe a little bit larger in terms of size, maybe they're a little bit more of a sophisticated business, where it's just not a 1 or 2 person operation, make sure you're asking about human resources, about safety, folks who might be leading those areas. We've seen, and I can tell you, even just our business here through COVID, we do have those different departments. We're using labels like crazy. Of course, we know a really good supplier to be able to make that happen. But it's really been revealing to me that just outside of the normal purchasing or procurement areas of a business, many other functional areas are really into labels. The messaging around it, certainly everything around COVID is important right now, but even anything just directional or informative. You can find, I think, some really good selling opportunities by just digging a little bit deeper and kind of calibrating in terms of what Beth used, to steal your term, Beth, and to explore selling opportunities that way. Okay, so that's mainly what I wanted to express. I know we have a short period of time, and that was a lot of information. I think what's most important is contact us here at LabelWorks. We're here to help. We're good at it. We can lead you through, and we can help you grow your sales and your business and your profits. Okay, with that being said, Beth, I'll hand it back to you.
Great, thanks, Rick. And we've got some great questions coming over, so I want to leave time for Q&A, but I'll go quickly through in the signs and graphics category, just like my colleague said, what are the top products and what are the industries so you can get started and do so profitably. So this image is a familiar one. Any of your neighborhood haunts filling with the signs and graphics in a restaurant. So what's important here is that these are the tools really that are make or break it. Is the business staying open or needs to be open? So it's important to them. The top products that we're seeing are banners, yard signs, and floor decals. Just a few call outs. There's been questions about margin. You can feel comfortable that within that 30 to 40% range, you can be competitive in the marketplace. In terms of banners, a couple notes there, we've got good, better, best. So that helps you when you talk in your discovery questions. How long does the signage need to be displayed? Are you changing up your marketing things so you can adjust there? Yard signs, that's as edified by every neighborhood. It's not just social and, there was graduation and birthdays, but also now the political signs, and then businesses are using them to just prep guests on what they can expect from a safety issue when coming into their business. Floor decals, popular. A note here that this is really one that we want to vet, and there's a laminate that ensures that it's non-slip. So as we get into some seasonality here, depending on where you live, that's really important. I want to touch on the top industries. It should be no surprise that these industries are ones that either were deemed vital or essential initially or are opening and in operation. So there's something about repeatability here too, because as CDC guidelines change or businesses adapt, their signage has to do that as well. So they may be changing from what they posted initially to guide their customers or their employees may change over time here. And just a quick story, we're seeing education as, it's close, it's an easy fourth. So as schools reopened, they had to ensure that there was clear communications to everybody attending and opening. I want to really cover super quick here what to know and then just the key thing, a pitfall to avoid. So in a rush situation, I think it's for everybody that was saying how long you've been here, it's in our DNA. Everything is going to be a rush. But when it comes to signs and graphics, it's even more important because it could be the make or break. Does the business get to stay open, or are they closing? Are they meeting guidelines or not? So rest assured, we can turn our signs and graphics products within 2 days. So that's critical. Also, just from a tool perspective, and it's similar to what Rick said, we can help you spec the product. So the number one tip here is make sure you ask those discovery questions and explore where the sign's going to be displayed. And then most importantly, what surface it will adhere to. So I recently worked with a distributor, and we did a project for a large law school. So it was indoor and outdoor signage, but even on the indoor signage, it made a difference that a wall decal that's in the cafeteria is not the same as the wall decal material that we need in a dorm room that's in a shower area or something. So we made those changes. So I'll leave you with that as far as discovering exploration, and then turn it to Stephanie.
Great, sounds good. Sounds good. So we have lots of questions. We're going to move directly into Q&A. And so we did get more questions than we can probably cover in the next 15 minutes. So I am going to share some of these, and for any of the others, we'll just take note of your names and make sure to get back to you. So the first question, Beth, I'll just kind of make this an easy one here, but you were mentioning the discovery questions. Is there a list of discovery questions that we might be able to share, and where can they find that?
Yep, we'll make that available. We have them either by product, so either labels or signs and graphics, or we have those related to what I mentioned earlier when we started about programmatic selling. How do you get at the detail about what their workflow is? So we have a series that sort of guides you through that to say, what is the experience like today? And spoiler alert, I think we're talking about that in the next webinar, right? For Navitor. So so we can make those tools available. So there's some that are related to product, and some are just related to process. So we can send those out as a follow-up.
Okay, perfect. So another question that we got, I'm going to put this to the full panel here. But I think this is a good question and on probably a lot of people's minds, kind of getting started in print, or maybe you've been in print a long time. B2B has their own printers. Some of them can print wide format too. So it sometimes can be really challenging to sell print with so many competitors out there. So, I would like to hear from some of the panelists on like how you guys have addressed it. So maybe, Beth, maybe you want to give it your first shot first?
Sure. So I have a couple of colleagues, distributors that have really told a great story when it comes to how do I compete with Vistaprint or my customers going direct. We just talked about the beginning and the stress that's on, the person that's ordering in the workflow. So when a distributor goes in and goes through all of that and what a user has to do to set up and create their own and do their own artwork, there's a savings there. So the time is now to say, we can set that up for you. And for something like Vistaprint, there's not necessarily a corporate store either. So there's not a way to have easy reorders. You'd have to redesign, especially if you want to offer more of, all products. So, and a full solution. So that's one way to add your value for sure, and more profit, right, to the customer. When it comes to maybe wide format, it depends on your area. So, right now, we're hearing from folks that, I've got to keep my doors open. They may be running wide format print and at a commercial printer at a lower cost so they can keep their employees there. However, we find that in that commercial print realm, there's still room for a distributor. And depends on the length of the run, right? So it may be in the 20% range that you can see margins. Mark, maybe would you add to that, or from what you're seeing in the print world?
Yeah, I think, when you run into those situations, a lot of times then you kind of have to look at what you can fill in, because, if they have their own printers and they have their own equipment, that sort of thing, they may not have the capabilities that we do. Again, we've been around for 70 plus years. We've seen it all. We've done it all. There's not a project that we'll try not to say no to, right? So again, it's really kind of finding that what they can't do and figure out how we can fit in. And it could be, maybe it's the length of run like Beth was talking about. Maybe they don't want anything to do with running 50 cards or, smaller quantities. We'll go ahead and do that all day, every day for you. It could be, variable print. It could be Do they have a website that's easy to use like Navitor.com? Do they have the customer service backing them, where if something does go wrong, is it going to get resolved in a timely manner? Or here at Navitor, we pride ourselves on our customer and how we take care of you and your clients. So yeah, it can be challenging, but I think that there is a spot that you can still win some of that work and send it, you get to keep some of that work. Rick, anything from your side?
I think you and Beth really nailed the key points. It really is around that. I mean, if I had to summarize it in a sentence or two, it's always a challenge for sure. I think the key thing, and one that I always ask myself, is how do you bring value? Always be thinking about that, and probably never give up. I mean, it's easy enough to hear somebody give an answer and then you walk away. I would say stay persistent, right? Build the relationship, stay in contact, and always think about how can I bring value to them that they don't currently have. And I think Mark and Beth pretty succinctly gave great answers and suggestions on why you should deal with Navitor in that regard.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. I know that that's kind of a hard question to answer sometimes. So
Yes.
the next question is related very specifically to decals and floor stencils and whatnot. So a few questions around sizing. Maybe we can give some general information there, but then also if it's outdoor versus indoor, adhesive strength, stuff like that. Beth, you wanna give some answers there, and we can always provide more afterwards as well.
Sure. Part of that discovery process, and like we were talking about, to go back to that, when we understand that, we can give you the list of questions. So then we would spec the particular product and maybe the overlay that's needed depending on indoor or outdoor. Typically 24 to 36 inches is a pretty common size. We can go wider. We can do wider format if you need. We've quoted projects recently, and one project's recently from as few as 100 decals for someone to open, or a couple thousand for a whole university. So we will tailor your quote to your request.
Okay, thank you, Beth. That's helpful. Okay, so then our next question is another important one. Questions about using online companies. So there might be differences in price. There might be differences in shipping times. How competitive are we at Navitor with these online sellers? So I'll throw that up to the speakers here.
We talked about, I used some direct, we talked about direct to start with, but even to the trade, we're competitive in that space for certain. There's also, we should have noted earlier, and if we didn't accentuate that as far as our G7 certification across all our facilities. So ensure that quality's there. And although we have an online presence, and we've been talking about that because it's easy to get to and you can turn things quicker, we've heard from all of you and listened hard. Sometimes you need a human being to speak with. And so our service is there to answer questions. So I would say, if you have already signed up so that you've got your tools, but know that there's always somebody available to answer those questions.
Anybody else want to touch on online competitors, kind of their perspectives, Rick and
Yeah,
Mark?
I can jump in and kind of answer that, because I used to be part of the team that had to do the competitive analysis and look at what the other trade printers out there that have that as well. So it was our job to make sure that we were competitive. And now I'm not going to say that we're going to win on every single product and every single quantity and every single category, but we are going to be competitive, especially in the main categories and the main products that you see. And again, with turn times, that sort of thing, it is quicker for you to order on Navitor.com in most cases. And one of the biggest reasons for that is a lot of our work that you submit online. And once you download our templates and set your artwork, you're going to submit that order, and it actually goes straight out to press. So it basically takes your press ready PDF or your file And then actually our back-end system will put it all together and send it to the right press for the right quantity, for the right size. It does that all behind the scenes. So it's taking out a big step that if you send the order in manually, or you email it in, or you're using our catalogs, where that has to go into a billing department who has to bill it, then it has to go to our prep department to set up your artwork. So there's a few extra steps that have to be taken. So again, ordering online is going to be cheaper because we're not using as much labor on our end as well. And it's going to be more efficient, again, because we are skipping some of those steps. Now, there are jobs where you don't want to do that. You want to make sure everything's right. You want somebody to look it over and maybe catch some of the errors that you're not confident with. And that's where our customer service is going to help. Our billing team, our graphic artists, our entire prep team is going to be able to assist and help and make sure that those jobs are done correctly and everything's set up and you sent in that information correctly as well. But again, so we have both options. Yeah.
And I'd maybe just add from the label side, we have competitive and market data that shows we're just, if not quicker, in terms of total turnaround time from order receipt to ship as any of our competitors in the marketplace. Most of the orders we get are custom quoted, obviously within the label world. We have a really nice customer service team. I can't say man the phones anymore, right? They're person the phones. And we have a nice team they're constantly taking phone calls, taking orders, helping with the technical details. And service is so important to us. We even measure how quickly we answer phone calls down to the second. We even monitor how many phone calls get abandoned. I'm happy to report on both. We answer the phone quickly and we don't miss too many. So that type of quick service is important to us. That is something we strive for and we achieve. So if you order labels from us, you'll get them quick and you'll get them right.
All right, perfect. Okay, we have time for one more question here. And I'm going to do this one because I think it's a great question coming in from Ken. And let's hear a little bit from the audience too. So in the chat, I want everyone also to answer and give their recommendations, because I think this is just a fundamental, question of any entrepreneur. So the question is, I have a prospect looking for a single indoor sign. I don't really want to pursue it, but feel like I don't have the chance for other business if I don't. What do you suggest I do? So let's have the speakers go through it and let's have folks answer on the chat as well. I'm sure there's lots of opinions out there on new business like this. So I'm going to start with you, Mark. Like
I had touched before, it's that first order that you're going to build that confidence and trust with your customer, and the rest of it will follow. So yes, and at NSP, with our indoor signs, we will make one. We're okay with making one. We'll make 100, we'll make whatever. So again, not a lot of companies will just make one sign, but again, I think it'd be well worth your time to pursue and to see what kind of business follows afterwards.
Rick, your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything I'd add to that. I think Mark is right. It really is a selling and a relationship opportunity. And obviously, you have to evaluate that, and it becomes a business decision for you, in terms of profits and time and cost and all of that stuff. But boy, I've seen it myself. I hope some of you have experienced it as well. Sometimes sales happen in the area least expected. And so I think I would pursue it. And to Mark's point, if we need to do singles, we certainly can do that. We will do that.
Right, Beth, any other advice there in 30 seconds?
No, I think everybody would agree. Go get that sign, and you probably find out some other things they're advertising, and you'll walk away with a bundle of other things, maybe some brochures and some drink glasses and things. So yeah, I would go for it.
Okay. And folks coming in on the chat is overwhelmingly go for it. So Ken, I think you have your answer there, and obviously you're going to make your own evaluation. All right, folks, so we are basically at time. So thank you, everyone, for your time today. We're really excited to show some of this and really put together clarity on these margins. So as we bring it all together, really, if you're not yet a Navitor member, we welcome you on these webinars and to get access to the free tools that we have at navitor.com. Signing up is free, it's fast, and it's easy. Anyone can get access to some materials, but members get access to hundreds of materials, all created within the last few months based on a vertical for your customer or your prospect. So members have access to the online pricing calculator that Beth was also talking about, where you can get immediate quotes on thousands of products within seconds, and you can send that to your customer as well. So that's really all the time that we have for today. If you're short on staff, remember to use Navitor.com. We've done the research and the prep to make you look good and feel confident out there. We really do appreciate feedback. So as you close off the webinar, you'll get a survey. Please do fill that out. That's really important to us and how we craft the future webinars. Thank you to everyone on the panel for all your pro tips and experience today. It's really valuable. And thank you to all the folks on the call for your time and engagement. Here at Navitor, we innovate, you sell, the customer's happy, and it's really an all-around win. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon.